Hey, listen, loan officers and realtors, you're getting conflicting information right now and you might be acting on it. I just want you to know what both sides are so you could plan accordingly. But Larry Young, the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, he says that mortgage rates are plunging, that even with the rent component still showing hefty gains, non-official private sector rent data has shown a 0 to 2% rise, that inflation is below the Fed's desired inflation level, and that interest rates rising at the Fed should be over, and that the Fed is going to have to consider, cutting rates.
You have to consider that.
And that mortgage rates are surely on their way down to 7 right now. Only, my friends, as they are on their way down to the 6s. Let me think about this.
As you can see from this graph, the overall consumer price index slowed to 3.2% last month on a year-over-year basis, lower than the 3.7% reading in September and the coolest since July. That deceleration owed partly to more moderate energy prices. Even with the volatile fuel and food prices stripped out, a closely watched core price measure climbed 4% in the year through October, slower than the previous reading and weaker than the economists had expected.
All right, so rates are on their way down. Yeah, I get it. As you're watching this, you already know what I'm talking about because it's already happened. It's old news by now, they say. It's old news.
This is old news.
But did you know, or at least not forget, or dare I remind you, sometimes we have to look back. And I get it. I know that's not a sexy proposition for all of those in the business of predicting interest rates, who call the market. I'll be short term, but whatever. But we have to look back every now and then. Just a few short days ago, you see, the Fed said this, and don't you find it a tad bit peculiar?
At the same time, in a panel discussion at the International Monetary Fund, Powell did not rule out another rate hike to help reduce inflation to the Fed's 2% target level. Inflation, as measured by the U.S. Consumer Price Index, has sunk from a 9.1% peak last year, but is still 3.7%. According to Chairman Powell, quote, "We are not confident." He said that the Fed's benchmark rate is high enough to steadily reduce inflation to 2% and added, quote, "We know that ongoing progress towards our 2% goal is not assured. Inflation has given us a few head fakes."
I know that everybody's excited about rates coming down. I get it. That the salvation to our woes has arrived and right in time for the holiday season. All I'm saying is just 4 days ago, Jerome and the boys over at the Fed said they're not confident, that the progress toward 2%, not at, but toward 2% is not assured, and that inflation has given the Fed head fakes. You see, it sounds to me like Larry is prematurely optimistic and trying to hold on to a job, and that prudence demands that we keep our hardened mindset and high rate vigilance in place for just a while. So let's move on.
So, if this is the case, then what path should we chart? How about this? Sell the benefits of high rates. Then high rates come with their own distinct advantages like fewer offers, more concessions, and lower prices, which many times provides more value than a low rate environment where zero concessions, bidding wars, and elevated prices are more demonstrative than the low rate.
I mean, there is a logic to it. Think about it. Your concessions today can be a better value than a low rate tomorrow. If you buy with a high rate, get your concessions, lock in your loan amount, not your sales price, but your loan amount. Then go get your lower rate when it chooses to saunter by some future day. Get it then. There's a logic and follow this. You're a salesperson. Compel people into a good decision. You have a chance right now with higher rates to lock in a lower sales price because when rates go down, bidding wars are all coming back. So in a sense, that's infinitely better than locking in a rate. I mean, rates go up and down. Values, they really just go up. So quit pussyfooting around and getting excited about the lower interest rates that might be around for a couple of days. God forbid. Hopefully they're not, because a high rate environment is going to get you more people closed. Hope this helps.